This month we're going to be talking about some of the best sherry cask matured whiskies in the April Outturn. Coming up, people that kind of think, well, that's not as romantic a story. The cask hasn't been sitting in a bodega for decades, so it's just not as good.
Yeah.
And basically, that's a lot of rubbish.
Second fill Oloroso, and this is also Spanish.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
I don't. Maybe we just cut that bit because neither of us know what we're talking about.
I tell you what, I love chocolate and whiskey.
Yes. Just don't go for that really high cocoa percentage.
I'm really bad. I just like milk chocolate.
That's enough. Give me a bar of Galaxy or something.
Oh, totally. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to our April Outturn Podcast. I'm joined again with the ever smiling,
The glamorous.
I wasn't going to say glamorous.
I don't know what you were going to say.
Ever available Calum Lawson.
Yeah. Thanks.
Let's go with that.
I'm always here. You know I always say yes.
So April, Calum, looking ahead to the Outturn, what's in store? Nice focus, I think, this month on sherry cask matured whiskies.
Okay.
This whole year we're really talking about sherry. We've got a very interesting piece of work coming out in May, which I'm not going to say too much about. Very exciting, but we'll get more of that to come fairly soon.
You're looking at me as if I have anything to do with that.
No, you didn't have anything to do with it. But we've got some lovely sherry cask matured bottles.
I'll do the honours. So the first one up we have, this is from distillery number 36, which is in the Speyside, bottling 201. It's called Glaze with Marmalade. It is in the deep, rich and dried fruits flavour profile. 16 years old, bourbon, and then the final cask is an Oloroso hogshead.
Very good.
I'm going to say Spanish oak. Because I've not had anything to drink yet, that's why.
You've been out to Spain, you should be au fait with the language. Do you know what it means?
No, I don't actually.
It means aromatic.
Does it? There you go.
Olor, smell. Oloroso.
Is it anything to do with
I wouldn't say
allure?
smelly, I would say aromatic.
Smelly?
Basically means smelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it smells good, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Great. Shall we
crack
open?
open.
Yeah.
We've got a selection of sherry cask matured whiskies. This is one of them. Spanish oak Oloroso for this one.
Yep.
Did you delve into the world of Spanish oak when you were over in Spain?
Oh yeah, we certainly did. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, we visited quite a few cooperages who we buy casks from, seasoned casks, which are fantastic, and the quality of the casks is sensational. The craftsmanship and we're obviously trying a lot of the sherry that they use for the seasoning as well, and they're just great. Sherry
from the cask that was being used to season the society's cask.
Yeah.
And it was drinkable.
Extremely drinkable. Yeah, it was lovely, delicious.
Because I think it varies in quality, doesn't it? Some people might use, sherry that might be inferior quality, and others, they are going to use that sherry, and it's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, well, I think, things have changed a lot because these authentic sherry casks aren't really probably widely available as much because
bodega casks.
Yeah, exactly, because sherry style whiskies has gone crazy. And there was always this talk about how sherry would have, go through rejuvenation, like it was going to become popular again. Yeah. And it is in some extent, but not really in the way that we thought it might. Yeah. Which is a bit of a shame, but so a lot of these casks are taken because of there's so many people using them for whiskey. So there's now a growing popularity in sherry-seasoned casks. Basically,
ex-bodega casks they're rarer, they're harder to get hold of, and also they're not always everything that they're cracked up to be, right?
Well, some of these casks are quite old, so it's really just maybe a bit more hit and miss. But with custom-made casks that have been seasoned for your needs, then you're going to get this consistency and this craftsmanship.
But there seems to be people that kind of think, well, that's not as romantic a story. The cask hasn't been sitting in a bodega for decades, so it's just not as good. Yeah. And basically, that's a lot of rubbish.
It is, because some of these, I think I've mentioned this before, but when you talk about full flavour sherry casks, these are the kind of casks that are going to deliver that kind of flavour that people love. That sherry bomb big hitters.
Well, like these.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say...
I've not even nosed it yet.
Well, come on. I mean, Spanish oak, because also an ex-bodega cask isn't going to be of Spanish oak.
No.
It's always
No.
American oak, right? Whereas the casks that are being specially created and seasoned to our specifications could be Spanish oak, but this is an example.
Well, what I was going to say was that's the key is that they're custom made for our needs. So normally, if you were looking to buy casks, it's probably what's available. But we've got an idea of our stock and what we'd like to do with different whiskies and what kind of cask we'd like to put it in. But this way, we can order what kind of cask we want to because we're all about variety, so we have to try and keep it interesting and try new and interesting things. And so that's why the fact that we can have these casks made to our specifications and exactly what we want or need. Then they're absolutely ideal.
And having that element of control.
Control, exactly.
To say, where the wood comes from. I mean, they can trace it back to the forest. So it's
You've been you and you stood in the fields and seen the trees come from.
And then if you click on a QR code, it will tell you exactly where that wood came from, which forest and which part of Spain. It's legit.
That's amazing.
You can trace the whole journey of the wood. We're going to be talking about that more. I'm not going to give away too much about that, but it's a fascinating journey, which is all traceable and sustainable as well. Which is, obviously a key concern.
The real forest, as opposed to kind of like you might see in Scotland, the forestry industry where they're all lined up and it's very unnatural looking. These are just natural woods and
and there's they're very much controlled about how many trees they can fell in a certain time period and in a certain location, so that it is sustainable. Anyway, we're talking a lot and not drinking much whiskey. That's very nice. And I think you can tell Spanish oak, it's got that high tannin level. Quite chewy, isn't it?
It's chewy. I'm thinking it's like marmalade, spicy marmalade or something. It's lovely.
Quite.
I knew it's got marmalade as the name on the bottle.
Oh, you're cheating. Yeah, I mean, if you're into a sherry bomb, that's really
it's savoury and sweet. It's got a good combination. It's like barbecue quite strong there as well, but it does have that sweetness, hence the whole marmalade thing.
First fill Spanish oak as well, so even bigger impact. First time the hogshead has been used to mature Scotch whisky.
Absolutely.
So
we've got one that's coming up, the second fill, so that should be an interesting comparison.
Right.
I guess you'd maybe expect that to be.
You want to take a look at that?
Well, we don't have to do that. If I'm going to mess up your order, Richard, then
no, I don't care.
Was that the one you just so happened?
That's it. Well, you open it then.
I don't mind.
No, you're the barman.
I'm not a barman anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so cask number 9595. That's
good.
That is good, easy to remember. This is the sweet and spicy flavour profile. Or is it spicy and sweet? We did this before.
It is spicy and sweet.
Yeah, the sweetness always just appeals to me. That's the kind of whiskey I like, sweet. So bourbon, and then this is second fill Oloroso, and this is also Spanish oak.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought we said that before. In our very brief homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. And does it say in the bottle? I don't. Maybe we just cut that bit because neither of us know what we're talking about.
I thought you said they were all.
No, that's what
Spanish oak.
These ones are explicit about being Spanish oak, and this one doesn't say. And if it doesn't say, does that mean something? That it's not Spanish oak, or does it just mean we've not?
What it means is that we haven't said what it is.
Right. Okay.
I think that's the only thing you can say.
Okay. Let's taste it and find out.
I think that's the thing we can do.
Then we can say, "Oh, this is amazing."
Oh, this is. Oh, yeah. Well, the fact that naturally, a lot of sherry casks fall into this deep, rich, and dried fruit flavour profile. Some, not all. The fact that this one's not, maybe is a wee clue that it might not be Spanish oak.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's not.
It's called peppery, zingy, and cooling.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have that. Well, it says peppery, but it's not that kind of savoury spiciness that you get straight away.
No. Yeah, kind of white pepper, isn't it? Yeah, it's very different.
It's very different.
If you're talking about sherry cask matured whiskey.
I really like that.
Yeah, and
That's tasty.
you're handed both of these.
Yeah.
You are.
Oh, well, you might not. I mean,
different territory.
I mean, you look at the colour, and you'd think, well, it's a bit darker than your average bourbon cask, so that gives you a wee clue. But I'm not sure if I would necessarily guess that was a sherry cask.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not obvious.
Yeah, it doesn't have those.
But that's probably why I like it.
Standout notes that you might associate with a sherry cask matured whiskey. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not quite as full on with them. It's very nice.
Does all that nuttiness.
It does actually, yeah.
Different taste you
It's kind of
display.
creamy.
This is from a distillery which is known for its short fermentation times, Calum. Isn't that right?
Did you plan this all along?
I just thought I'd throw that in.
We were talking about fermentation, and I looked somewhere and it said it was a long fermentation, and Richard came back saying it was actually a short fermentation.
Yeah.
And we looked into it and you were correct.
Well, we've written.
I apologise, Richard.
No, just keeping you on your toes. We've featured this distillery a couple of times because I think it's an interesting place, which you just don't see it as a bottling in its own right.
Yep.
It contributes the bulk of a couple of very well-known blends.
Yep.
Can we talk about those blends?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Well, it's J&B Rare, and I think Johnny Walker Red now.
Right.
But as a distillery in its own right, it's really what we'd call one of our unsung heroes.
Yeah.
But it works really, really well in a variety of casks as well.
Yeah.
It seems quite adaptable.
Yeah.
And in the sherry cask, I think it does really well.
This is really nice. But I'd personally prefer things a little bit more mellow when it comes to sherry. But we're talking about unsung heroes, and the first distillery as well. That's another one, distillery number 36. That's not well known in its own right, but we bottle it quite often, and they are absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
and just by chance, we are talking about fermentation in Unfiltered in April.
Yeah,
looking at the different effects in terms of flavour creation that come from the fermentation process.
Yep.
The kind of yeast that distilleries are working with.
Yeah.
Lots of different fermentation times.
Yeah, I think it can be a bit confusing because they talk about long, and there's a lot of variations between what's short and what's long, and one batch, one distillate could be a combination of different fermentation times, depending on the distillery, and a lot of new distilleries, a lot of the new distilleries are a lot more experimental, so that they're more commonly all saying things like long fermentation, experiment with different types of yeast.
Yeah.
So you're seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this one you said is a sort of classic, well known for having a short fermentation. You get those kind of nutty notes.
Yeah.
And it's great as well.
Yeah.
Variation. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Good.
I'll never forget that's got short fermentation.
That's it. Now it's seared in your memory. But no, it's a cracking dram, and I think a good example again of being able to try something that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Oh, absolutely. Because to talk more generally about single cask bottlings, from distilleries like these, where you might not know them in their own right as releases. But if you did, what we do with it is going to make it different anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Still to come.
Can you tell me who Lewis Hamilton is going to be driving for next year? He's just announced that he's changing teams.
I don't follow F1 in the slightest.
No, neither do I, but I heard this on the radio the other day. Carvalhaios Barrique?
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
I can tell you, Calum.
Please do, Richard.
That would be a sweet Portuguese wine.
Ah, you're a well-travelled man, you see.
Well, I actually looked it up 5 minutes ago. I don't think we're going to crack these open, but a couple of other examples in April.
You just change your mind as we go, don't you?
Well, it depends how we're doing.
Depends how thirsty you are.
Yeah, I'm quite thirsty. But a couple more sherry cask matured, 41.170, pure exuberance, 17-year-old, also Spanish oak.
So that was the other Spanish oak one.
Oloroso, yep. And what have you got there?
And this one is peated, and it's from distillery number 66.245, which is a Highland distillery. For me, that has quite commonly has a kind of farmyard sort of funkiness to it,
Yes.
which I really like,
Yeah.
and it makes it very popular with our
Yeah.
members. This is bourbon, and then it's been finished in the first fill Oloroso hogshead.
Yeah.
Spanish oak, I do not know.
Spanish oak.
Yeah?
Yes.
There
Yep.
you go. Okay.
That's F1 racetrack barbecue.
Yeah, good name as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
And that distillate also does really well with sherry matured cask, doesn't it?
can you tell me who Lewis Hamilton is going to see for next year? He's just announced that he's changing
I don't
teams.
follow F1 in the slightest.
No,
did
neither
see
do I,
some
but I
of
heard this on the radio the other day.
this. Ferrari?
It is.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I have no interest in F1, but that one somehow, I picked it up.
There you
somewhere.
go.
Yeah.
It's a good
Are you
name.
cracking that open?
Oh, shh.
Oh, that's fine. Why not?
I thought it was just that one you weren't going to open because it was similar to...
No. I'm up for the 66.
He's up for it. It's always more fun when you're not supposed to.
On you go.
We should do this on a Saturday night one time and just try everything from the Outturn. Richard, are you up for that?
And try and cycle home. Yeah. Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
I think that distillate does so well
Yeah.
in sherry
It
matured
does.
wood. Yeah. It stands up to it well, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that, isn't there?
Yeah. It's a great distillery. Have you been up there?
I've not, no.
Oh, tremendous.
No, I'd like to go.
They do the whiskey for teachers.
Uh-huh.
So
That's a brand from the past that you don't...
yeah.
it used
Well,
to be...
it's still
Still
big
going, but not
internationally.
in this country. You'd see loads of things about
Yeah,
teachers back
yeah,
in the
yeah,
day.
you would.
I remember that brand as a kid.
Yep,
Probably
absolutely.
wasn't even sure it was what it was, but
Yeah.
it was definitely well known.
I think internationally it's still a big name. Maybe lesser spotted in the UK now, but it's a great distillery.
The lesser spotted. Sounds like I'm just talking about wildlife.
Wow. Oh yeah. I'm absolutely at an F1 racetrack having a barbecue.
It's the combination of sherry and peat that creates that kind of rubberiness. You get that quite a lot.
Yeah.
When it's the combination of the two of them.
Like a pit stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how much I know of F1. Yeah, that's lovely.
Delicious.
Yeah, I can get the kind of the farmyard element of that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
kind of tamed
But
as
also
well with
the-
the sherry.
The burning rubber.
Burning rubber. Okay, brilliant. We've got 3 picks this month, Calum,
Yeah.
which are coming in at or around the £50 mark. Now, our sherry cask matured, they were all under £100.
Which is still really good value.
Yeah,
actually.
I think so.
Yeah.
Look at the ages. We've got a 16-year-old
17-year-old.
for £92, 17-year-old is 100,
All the way around, but yeah.
15-year-old is 98, and the 10-year-old is £70.
Yeah.
Right? Cask strength whiskey. But we've got these bottles that are coming in at £50. A couple of grains there as well.
I can't see because I'm looking around the wrong way here. Oh, that's the 39.
Yeah,
And these are 2 grains
Yeah.
from the same distillery.
yeah.
Were we going to
So-
open one of these?
Yeah, and you go.
Which one shall I open?
Take a pick.
Okay. Sweet Shop on the Beach. Sounds good to me.
There you go. And grain whiskey also maybe a little bit underappreciated, Callum.
I always think the interesting about grain whiskey is that it was never made to be drank in its own right. So it's all about blending and creating a whiskey that is easier to access and
Yeah.
more sort of mainstream, I suppose. And
Yep.
and if you had a grain whiskey, a young grain whiskey, it's not the way it's made. It's not neutral spirit, but it's closer to neutral spirit than single malt,
Yeah.
for sure. So if it's very young, or if you're doing a taste new make, you probably wouldn't get too much from it, and it's a lot more about the maturation.
Yeah.
But especially some older grains, once they get to a certain age, they're fantastic because they have that kind of
Yeah.
easygoing, creamy, sweetness. But then, that's 8 years in a cask. It's going to pick up all the influence from the cask as well. So
Yeah.
I've not even nosed it yet. But that is a sweet shop for sure.
Yeah, very sweet, floral. But I wonder if you put that in a blind tasting, if you'd really sense that was a grain whiskey and not a single malt whiskey?
Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
Do a wee blind taste?
Yeah,
That's lovely.
Yeah, it is lovely. It's just with grains that age, they're just a bit more drinkable. I think maybe that's not the right term because they're just a bit easier, a bit sweeter, a bit smoother,
Yep.
a bit creamier.
Yeah, I would take that any day.
A good whiskey for somebody who's kind of maybe new to whiskey or the beginning of night you want, or something just a bit different.
Yeah, maybe even a wee cocktail.
That'd be fantastic for a cocktail.
Yeah. Wee highball or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah. 8 years old. I'm used to drinking grains that are older, as you say.
Yeah.
You know, they've lived a decent life, and you can get them at very good prices as well.
Well, I think I had a sort of wrong impression of grain whiskey. The first time I ever tried it was probably a non-age statement grain whiskey, and I just kind of thought, oh, I don't know, what's the point, you know, because you're not really getting a lot. There's nothing really much in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 years in a cask and fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that hits the spot for me. And there's, you say, there's two of these.
There's two from the same distillery. I think they're both. Is that the same distillery, that one there? So that one is light but bright. They're both 8 years old, both first fill bourbon, and they're pretty similar. Yeah. Actually, I wonder, I was looking at the date here. Actually from different years, but so one's slightly older than the other one.
Okay. Both very good. And what's another £50?
This one is from distillery number 39, which is Speyside.
Yeah.
I know we know what we're going to get from this. You know, it's going to be fruity, floral, but this is a single malt, single cask. From a distillery that we know very, very well and very, very popular.
Yeah.
And that is just, you know,
it's a steal.
It's a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, get your hands on that. All right, and we thought we'd just pick out a couple other interesting bottlings for different reasons because they're not Scotch whisky. We are going to
Wales
with that one.
Can I say it in a Welsh accent? No.
Give it a try. Give it a try.
I can't. No. Cava and raspberry liqueur jelly. I can't even say it in my own accent, let alone a Welsh accent. Oh, right, okay. So this is bourbon, and then probably should have looked at this before. We were sitting here in front of the camera, but Carvalhaios Barrique.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
I can tell you, Calum.
Please do, Richard.
That would be a sweet Portuguese wine.
Ah, Portuguese. You're a well-travelled man, you see.
Well, I actually looked it up 5 minutes ago. But
well, at least you're honest.
Got to be honest. I've never tasted it, but my impression is it's not a sherry cask. It's not like a Pedro Jimenez, but it's a sweet Portuguese wine, which I dare say is giving you some of those kind of sweeter,
absolutely
dried raisin kind of notes, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So definitely worth trying out.
Yeah, this distillery, we always have really interesting cask types. It just works really well with wine and sherry. This one will be really popular.
Yeah. So well worth checking that out. And no, that's the wrong one.
Too many bottles.
Too many bottles. Distillery 138, so one of our more recent offerings in terms of the distillery number. Blowing smoke rings. Do you know anything about Distillery 138?
Do I know anything about blowing smoke rings?
Well,
I don't smoke anymore, but I used to be able to blow a pretty cool smoke ring.
Right. Well, we need to get a wee demonstration on
No,
that.
I've not had a cigarette for years.
Okay. Taiwan. Yeah.
I think you know more about this distillery than I do, really.
Maybe. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay. Well, you say Taiwan, and a lot of people immediately think of Cavalan.
The other one.
Yeah. This isn't Cavalan.
No.
It's the other one. So I'm not going to say it.
No.
But it's a big distillery. They do different products.
It's like a big industrial distillery. So they must do a lot of different things there, I imagine.
They do like lychee wine.
Don't know.
And they do other liqueurs. But they've been doing whiskey for a long time. And we've released it before.
Yep.
This is the 18th cask from this distillery. So we've been releasing
I've seen a few come through.
for a while. Yeah, really, really good.
Yep, great.
And it's got the, that tropical accelerated maturation.
Exactly, because
I think it's like 8-9% each year is lost to evaporation. So they can't let it mature for too long, otherwise there's not going to be anything left in the cask.
And how old is it, sorry?
4 years.
There you go, yeah.
4 years. But yeah, kind of rapid maturation. Yeah, just really good stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, in some countries the percentage goes up because the water evaporates before the alcohol.
No, not there.
Not there though. I don't think so.
I think after
it's more
4
like
years,
India.
it's what's the ABV now?
57.2. So that seems like it's going down. Yeah.
Going down. But yeah, well worth a try. Wee bit of Taiwan whiskey. Good.
Yep.
Anything else on your mind this month, Calum?
How was your Easter?
Did
you do
this like Graham Norton? We've got to pretend.
Yeah. Did you do an
it's
Easter egg
already
hunt?
happened. No.
I was explaining to my daughter that about she's only 3 years old, but I was explaining to her about Easter eggs. We're in the supermarket, and I was like, because there's a whole row of chocolate eggs, and I was like, you will get one of these. She's not really sure about the concept there, but I can guarantee when I give her a chocolate egg, she's going to love it.
Of course she is.
And I tell you what, I love chocolate and whiskey.
Yes.
I pretty much, that's what I'll do. If I'm having a whiskey at home, always have chocolate.
Yeah. It's a great combination.
Yeah, my favourite.
You ever tried Tiffin and whiskey?
Not sure.
Oh, it's so good.
But also, cask strength whiskey and chocolate, because you know, you might want to water it down a little bit, because chocolate coats your mouth a little bit. It helps with the strength of the whiskey a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant. Just don't go for that really high cocoa percentage chocolate.
I'm really bad. I quite like milk chocolate.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough, isn't it? My wife gets some of that 90% cocoa chocolate. I couldn't eat it.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat it. Give me a bar of Galaxy or something.
Oh, totally. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Give me a Cadbury's cream egg. Are they in the shops yet?
They're in the shops all year round, the cream eggs.
Are they? I thought they just came out for Easter.
No, they're in all year round.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully that gives you some idea of what's coming out in April.
We hope you all had a great Easter and you enjoyed chocolate and Easter eggs and whiskey.
Yeah. Happy Easter, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And get yourself some good whiskey and enjoy, with chocolate or without.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers, Calum.
Thank you.